This is the Horse Radio Network.
Greetings, everyone. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in Horse Tip Daily, episode 1372. This time, Teddy Franke shares some tips on helping lazy horses feel more forward. This one is compliments of the monthly CHA episode on Horses in the Morning. CHA is Certified Horsemanship Association, by the way. And before we get to our tip, we're going to hear from Wintec, today's sponsor. Available now from leading retailers throughout North America, the new and improved range from Wintec, the world's favorite synthetic saddle brand. Combining hard-wearing materials with best-in-class technology, the range of new and improved Wintec saddles now has something for every discipline, conformation, and budget. The new specialist conformation saddle models include the Wintec 2000 High Wither All-Purpose, Wintec 2000 Wide All-Purpose, and the Wintec Pro Wide Dressage. And that's not all. Improved comfort for you and your horse with super soft panels that mold in and around your horse's working muscles for a closer, more stable fit. Plus, the amazing new saddle flap that contours around your horse, channeling your thigh to improve contact. Head out to your local retailer and have a sit in one of the new and improved Wintec saddles, or visit them online at Wintec Saddles, that's saddles plural, .us. WintecSaddles.us.
And we'll just jump into some really specific now on these mounted issues. How about those horses that are really lazy? What do you tell riders about motivating those guys?
Absolutely. And sometimes people are really blessed to have a lazy horse as they're, as they're learning and kind of developing their skill level. A lazy horse can be kind of a blessing. But obviously, the hallmark of a good horse is they can be asleep 1 minute and alive and awake and doing something that you ask them to do a split second later. And so that's something that we're constantly looking for. And one of the keys, I think, to developing a lazy horse to where they're able to respond is you need to make sure that your aids always mean something. All right. Your aids always have to mean something. So a lot of times people will apply an aid to a horse. And when I say aids, I'm talking about natural and artificial aids. So our 4 natural aids are our hands, our legs, our voice, and our weight. And then artificial aids would be something like spurs or crops, something to that effect. And anytime we use any of those aids, it's really critical that they mean something. So if your aid, for example, to get your horse to go is to squeeze your legs, you don't want to be on your horse squeezing your legs and then not really following through and enforcing that aid. So that can be a big piece just to getting a lazy horse to move, is they understand that every time you do this, it means they do indeed have to go. Every time you squeeze, every time you check on the reins, it means they do indeed have to stop. And there's follow through there. You've set a line and you've enforced that line. And that can be on the ground as well. Oftentimes a horse will push through you if they don't respect your space. And, your space, just your presence needs to mean something to that horse. Then another issue that I think comes up is people tend to, I call it nagging, because it's what I do to my children when they don't respond. For example, if I ask my daughter to clean a room, and then I asked her again, and I asked her again, and I asked her again, suddenly my words don't mean anything, right? Because I've asked her so many times, it's just meaningless. I've never actually enforced it. And so that kind of goes back to the first one too. Don't nag, make sure your aids mean something. Then also a tool that I like to use in my training program that is really helpful in getting a horse to, to pay attention and be ready, is to isolate each individual aid. So we talked about our 4 natural aids, our hands, our legs, our voice, and our weight. And I like to isolate each aid and use it by itself. So for example, I might just use my legs to get my horse to go. And then I might just try and use my weight by, rocking my seat or adding some energy to my seat, and try and get my horse to respond to just that one aid. And then when I put them all together and use them in conjunction, then it creates a whole lot bigger and more complete picture in the horse's mind as to what I want. And so that's another little tool that a person could incorporate into their training program that just really would help the horse develop that ability to fall asleep 1 minute and then immediately wake up as the rider signals.
I love that you talk about the natural aids because I think, Teddy, a lot of people go straight from, well, this horse is lazy, we're just going to use a crop on it, or we're going to use a spur on it. And that's not necessarily the right answer, right? Getting to make sure that he's listening to your aids correctly is probably a better way to go.
Well, and it's real easy to get heavier and heavier and heavier or more driving with your aids when really the horse, we talk about how a horse can feel a fly land on their back, right? So even a lazy horse can feel a fly and would respond in kind, whether it's swishing their tail or doing whatever they do to get that fly off. So that tells you that even a lazy horse can be dialed into where they're sensitive and willing to respond. Getting a heavier aid is not really the correct answer. It's making sure that your aids are meaningful when you do give them. And part of that key, too, is giving a release at the appropriate time. And I think if there's one thing that I see these new riders struggle with more than anything else, it's the timing of when do I give the aid and when do I release the aid. And the horse is going to hunt that release. They're going to look for that release. And if they don't think they can get the release, then some types of horses will just get stoic and they will appear to be lazy when really they're just putting up with you.
And that about wraps it up for this time. You can find lots more training and coaching tips on the monthly CHA episodes on Horses in the Morning. You can find them at horsesinthemorning.com, or you can go to cha.horse, where you will find the episodes, in addition to all the great things that are happening at the Certified Horsemanship Association. And don't forget, like us on Facebook. Just search Horse Tip Daily, and there you can suggest topics for us to cover on the podcast and share your favorite barn hacks. We also share online resources and plain old fun and hilarious stuff there as well. This is Coach Jen, and I will be back again soon with another tip. So until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.